so it'll be more lively. Plus, Indians don't think it's a good meeting unless people are screaming at each other. Have you seen Indian television?
You create some drama here. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Let's just scream.
Mona, I offer to scream at you.
All right, I'll take it. I like you. I'll take it.
Yeah.
Reality television draws everyone in, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Let's show them that they can take Indians out of India, but they can't take India out of us.
It's very true.
Okay.
Okay.
Others
So we
is
begin.
joining.
Good morning. Yeah. Has he joined? Adarsh, okay, I'll just check on him. So shall we begin? Navneet sir, shall we begin?
Yeah.
Okay. So good morning to all the participants joining in India, and good evening to all of you who have joined us from the US. My name is Madhura, and I welcome all of you to this session on how Indian lawyers can work with the US lawyers. This event has been streamed on our Facebook page. I extend a warm welcome to all of you who have joined the stream on the Facebook page. So here is a bit about ILA. ILA is a pan-India by lawyers for lawyers not-for-profit organization, and we have been establishing and energizing chapters all over India. We are committed to provide opportunities for quality professional development and to support the enhancement of equality in the legal profession. We aim to promote the delivery of justice, facilitate effective law reforms, and advance the rule of law throughout India. We have chapters in about 75 cities in the country, and these chapters are independent in their functioning and have the liberty to orchestrate the chapter initiatives. ILA chapters host numerous meetings for their members, help their community by fostering pro bono assistance, create mentor-mentee relationships, provide an accessible support to the younger lawyers, create a referral network, and also have a lot of fun. So with this, I hand over the session to Mr. Navneet Chugh, who is a managing partner of Chugh LLP and president, Indian Lawyers Association. Sir, over to you.
Thank you so much, Madhura. Thank you for doing a great job with Indian Lawyers Association. You've done really, really well the last 2 years and helped us with all these chapters and managed everything during COVID. So thank you. There are 400. We started ILA in 2018, January 18th, 2018. We held the first meeting. It was a challenge on what city to start in because some of us in the US are looking at the 4 million Indians in US, 80% of them in the top 12 cities of US. And then we wondering if there are any Indian lawyers in a city called Austin. And then we realized that, hey, wait a minute, this is India. We don't need to worry about what city has Indian lawyers. Every city has Indian lawyers. And cities like Ahmedabad, a small city, relatively 30,000 lawyers, Mumbai 60,000, Delhi 60,000. So we said, okay, we'll launch in the top 100 cities. Thanks to Wikipedia, we found a list of the top 100 Indian cities. So we said, okay, we'll launch in all 100. And the goal is that the third Thursday of every month, all ILA chapters will host a meeting. We prepared a mini cheat sheet of everything ILA will do, platform for the 1.3 million lawyers in India, which would make us the largest legal organization anywhere in the world, because China doesn't allow a whole bunch of nonprofit organizations. So India allows, and the same number of lawyers in India and US, 1.3 million, with a slight difference. 600,000 of the 1.3 million lawyers in India have a fake law degree. But besides that, the number is 1.3 million in both countries, the largest democracy and the oldest democracy, both babies of United Kingdom. So there is a lot of similarities in the legal world. So we launched a website, we hunted presidents, and a lot of chapters started doing great work. A lot of lawyers in India keep saying, what is ILA gonna do? By the way, we researched before we started that there was no Indian Bar Association in India, unlike the 6,000 bar associations that exist in the US and maybe 20,000 worldwide. In US, of course, as you know, the 3,158 counties, all of them have a bar association. Some cities have a bar association. And then there's ethnic bar associations from every alphabet, Java, Kaba, Waba, Paba, Maba. And then, of course, there is subject matter bar association. So it's endless. And in India, we came to know that there are some court bar associations that lawyers that go to a court get together once in a while, once a year for sure at election time, but rest of the year they don't do anything. And so then I was warned to not call it Indian Bar Association because we'll get into trouble with the Bar Council of India. So we said, okay, fine, we'll avoid the word bar. So we called it Indian Lawyers Association. And then a few months later, we found an article somewhere that listed that there are 400 cities in India with a population of over 100,000. So we changed our goal from 100 cities in India to 400. And if it takes 100 years to get there, it takes 100 years, no problem. We have a lot of time. The American Bar Association started with 75 lawyers on a horse in New York in 1878. 143, 144 years ago. So we have time. By the way, just it so happens that California, for instance, has a rule that if a case is not tried within 5 years, it'll be dismissed in favor of the defendant with prejudice. So there's really no case in California. Thanks to COVID, we are now in court, begging the court to give us some more time because of the 5-year rule. And the courts have extended it by 6 months in default. So a lot of states in the US, as you know, have rules about the case must finish. California, 90% of cases finish within 2 years. And it just so happens by coincidence that the year American Bar Association started in the United States in 1878. So India doesn't have a rule about old cases being thrown out. So lo and behold, the oldest case still alive in India is from 1878. A land dispute in Varanasi, it's only 144 years old. And I think 400 judges have passed on that case, and the 401st one is now trying it. So anyways, my wife says I talk a lot, and for the first time in my life, I'm beginning to agree with her. So I'll shut up. Let me ask each one of you in alphabetical order to tell us about your life from the day you were born till this morning. Believe me, it doesn't take a whole bunch of time. We've done this many times. Adarsh from Pro Altemis, did you join us?
No, sir.
Okay. Kritika, your turn. Tell us about your life.
So my life has been very typical. Going to school, not much fun, and studying to become a lawyer. So 5 to 6 years of my life has gone into becoming a lawyer. So I do understand the importance of having colleagues who have shared the same life with me. So here I am trying to understand why we cannot organize into an association which actually benefits and does meet. However, after hearing you, I do disagree on one point. We do have subject bar associations. So we do have electricity, telecom, wherein we do all meet. But those are very small bar associations, and I don't think so they would be anywhere except for Delhi. So at the moment, I work all days a week. I do the work of a subject that I do like, and I would also like to meet like-minded people. So I'm trying to understand why we are not being able to achieve the goal that you have just elaborated. I hope that further on, I'll understand some problems and maybe I can help in the cause.
Okay. So what kind of work do you do at Desai Devanji?
So my subjects would be civil, commercial, criminal. It is a mix of all. I specialize in litigation though. So litigation towards those subjects.
Okay. And I'm told there's 36 million pending cases in India, a quarter of which are criminal, and had those alleged criminals pleaded guilty on day one, they would have served by their term by now and would have been free, but they're waiting for trial. What is the solution? Somebody wrote a paper that it'll take 400 years to clear the backlog. Do you have a solution for these 36 million pending cases?
Yeah, the problem here is access to justice. So there is a lack of knowledge to what the rights are. So yes, in case an accused would know of his rights, he would actually know how much time it should take for the investigation to get over with, what rights he has to get out. But most of the people who are stuck within the criminal justice system are very unaware. So that is one cause of the problem. The second is the amount of population we have for one judge. So the jurisdiction of a judge has has a lot of people within it, a lot of disputes and a lot of subjects. But these days we have been having a solution from the judiciary. They are trying to recruit more people. They are trying to update the infrastructure. They are now taking 10-year or older cases in priority. So there is an improvement because people are getting more aware, lawyers are getting more active and answerable because the people are getting more aware. So I hope that in 10 years, with the recruitment, the infrastructure, things should improve.
Wonderful. Would you ever consider filing a lawsuit against the court system in India that all the judges shouldn't take off the entire month of August and close the courts? Since we have 36 million pending cases, there should be some sort of emergency, right?
Yeah, so during COVID, they have actually suspended the court holidays. They all sit in vacation benches. So you will, if it's a right that is affecting your fundamental rights, you have vacation benches throughout. But what is the strength of that vacation bench is the issue. And your access to justice is always concerned to the money you have in your pockets. So that is another problem. However, we have another solution that has just come up, which is that they have started giving the registrar of the court more powers. That would be not the judge, but for completion of pleadings, etc. They now have other officers who take care of it. It is getting more streamlined. It is getting time oriented. But that again is very much linked to awareness.
So Kritika, I'd like to put you on the spot. I sent you a mail about 3 years ago saying, hey, will you become president of ILA in this life? Yes. And I think you vanished on me. So now that I've caught you.
No, I did not. No. I did not vanish on you. I helped you as a student coordinator. So I was a student coordinator, and I think for the Delhi chapter, you had chosen a partner from Lex, some law firm, if I remember. Yeah. I never received a call for any Thursday. I responded on the first message that you sent me.
So now that 500 people are going to see this, can you tell me what year will you become president of ILA Delhi in the next 10 years?
The problem at this point in time, I would not be able to commit because I am at a position where I am at the disposal of my partner. So Thursdays, organizing and being free at 6 is a problem that many fellow lawyers who are at senior associate or associate level positions
why don't you send him a mail that you're quitting and then answer my question?
If I'm quitting, if I'm the master of my own time,
just send him a mail that you quit. What kind of law firm doesn't let a lawyer become president of a bar association? It's a gift.
So that's what, when we in India, it's a new concept to have personal bar individuals running a bar association. We have more organizational court bar associations, if I may say so. Yes, you're right. They don't really have any benefit if I have to talk about my 7 years of enrollment in the bar, how many times have I actually gone to the bar association and have sought any help except for my enrollment is a big question. And yes, elections, obviously. That's the time we receive calls and messages. I do
So
understand the
I would-
concern.
Yeah. I would think you would be a grandmother in the next 35, 40 years, right? So can we make a deal that the day you become a grandmother, you'll become president of ILA in Delhi?
I can make a deal with you the day I have more autonomy with my time, the
Okay.
day I become a principal associate or a partner. I think this is a brilliant cause because there are so many students who keep approaching us on LinkedIn, asking for help, asking for ways to get in the profession, asking for so many things that as a mentor you can actually do. I did love your idea about mentorship that you had proposed at that point in time as well. There were many students when I got associated with the organization then, and I loved the whole concept. I'm very surprised that it couldn't be implemented. I think 6 p.m. Thursday is a big problem. Here, Saturdays would be beneficial. That might be an
Yeah.
issue.
Right. Yeah. Sorry, Kritika, just bugging you for no reason. You're very kind. You're very decent. I know you helped us a lot years ago. And when I sent you a mail, I sent a mail to 10 lawyers to participate today. Only 2 or 3 responded. You were the first one. Thank you so much.
You have been really kind towards me also. You have been nothing but kind and respectful. That is to say the
Thank you.
most.
Thank you. I will, through my spy network, figure out who your boss is at Desai Devanji, and I will do something about this. Okay. Thank you.
Brilliant.
Okay. Well, we'll invite them at the next panel is what we'll do. We go to Los Angeles. Maurice Alfonso is a lawyer at Apple and president of South Asian Bar Association of Southern California. Maurice, tell us about your life.
Hi all. I was actually born in India, in Bombay, moved to LA when I was 10, been here ever since. Law school at UCLA where I did entertainment law, and that's what I practice now. So I work for Apple Studios. I work on their TV shows and maybe sometimes movies. So entertainment law is kind of my jam.
So Kritika earlier said that she's not having fun in life, and I wanted to tell her that one of the most fun things we have had in life is the South Asian Bar Association. But I figured I'd ask you to share with us how have you enjoyed being president of SABA?
I loved it. I was part of SALSA in law school, which is the South Asian Law Students Association. And then I joined SABA, which is for attorneys afterwards. And it's a really good network. It's a really good, almost family. You get to know people, and it's a very good resource for us here. It's support, and it's connections, and it's answers to questions that I know for me, I was the first lawyer in my family, so it's been helpful to have people I could talk to who come from the same background, who understand my values and can still help me practice law here. We, as the South Asian Bar Association, we do a lot of events, obviously, panels and things like that, of course, but also we try to connect the South Asian lawyers here with other South Asian lawyers. There are a lot of people in LA, but it is still hard to find other South Asians sometimes, and this is a great way to do it. This month, for instance, we're doing a volunteer day, and we're doing a gala next month, and we do a lot of fun events on top of our professional development kind of events.
Wonderful. And the term of president of SABA in Southern California is what, 1 year, 2 years?
1 year. We co-president it, and we sort of burn out, and then we just help from the background afterwards.
Okay. All right. We go to Mona Shah. Mona, you've led a great life, and you've done a lot for the South Asian Bar Association in United States, both at a local and national level. So please share with us.
That's very kind of you. Hello, everyone. Thank you for including me here. My name is Mona Shah. I am also from Southern California. I'm a past president of Saba SoCal, and I'm now the executive director of Saba National. Saba National is 29 chapters throughout the United States and Canada, and we have close to 9,000 lawyers in our membership through those 29 chapters. Our goal at Saba here is much like ILA. We are here to network. We're here to promote South Asian lawyers. We're here to also serve the South Asian community and the community at large here in the United States and Canada. So it's been very rewarding to be part of Saba, both at a local level in Southern California as well as nationally. It's been, like it's been said, we're a family. We're a really tight-knit group, even though we are really large. Tara is currently Saba's president-elect, and we must talk more times a day than she cares to admit, truthfully. There are times during the day where we just need to, you know, like siblings, we need to walk away from each other, but we are like a family, and that's a very nice thing, having that network, having that connection, the support. It's really immeasurable. I wear a few different hats in my legal career. I'm also a litigator here in Los Angeles. I've been a litigator for 21 years. My emphasis has been real estate and employment law. I'm also a legal ethics professor at USC Gould School of Law, where I've had the pleasure of teaching LLM courses in the law school for the last 6 years. I've had a number of LLM students from India, and that's been really rewarding to see. And a good number of those have now settled here in the US and have jobs here as part of US lawyers. So it's nice to see that transition from the Indian legal market here into the United States legal market.
How do we get on a national microphone in India that 1.4 billion people can hear and tell all of these Indian law students that finish their law degree and tell them that before they run to United States and UK and elsewhere, please work for 2, 3, 4 years in India before you run away?
You know, I think that's a great point. You know, the one thing I always tell my students, and most of them have had prior legal careers in their home countries, you know, wherever that may be, the Middle East, Asia, India, Europe, is that we are such a small global market now. You know, I can order something on the internet from India and I can have it here within 2 weeks. You know, we are a very small global market now, and we need that legal representation everywhere in the world. So it's vital that if you're going to come to the United States and become a part of the legal community here, the benefit that you bring, the individuality that you bring, the uniqueness that you bring that those of us here that have practiced here, that grew up here, do not have, is that you understand the customs in your home country. If I'm going to take on a case in India or take on a mediation, whatever it might be, I'm not going to understand the protocols. I'm not going to understand the customs. I'm not going to have the connections. That is where someone who has practiced in India and now is here in the United States practicing really is beneficial to me or to the corporation or to the client. And it's something that we need more and more of because we are such a small global market.
Right. You know, and they, it's kind of sad. They come here, they're 23 years old. They just finished law school in India. They're taking loans on their parents' names and mortgage their properties and come here and do a 1-year LLM. And I don't know how much they can learn about all of US laws in 1 year. Then they have to struggle to take the bar exam and then to find a job. And then they feel that they have to earn a living and make some money so they can pay their loans off. And then the employers in the United States have 2 choices. One, to hire this 24, 25-year-old Indian lawyer with LLM in the US, or a young US graduate who did 4 years of undergrad and 3 years of law school and is 25 years old, but is on his 6th job because they were working through college, they were waitering, helping at restaurants. They were distributing newspapers at age 14, and all kinds of odds and ends. And it's a difficult choice. And so we get a resume a day, at least 365 a year. And our HR department has been instructed, and I'm sorry, but I'm going to just say it outright so that people get the message. So the instruction to HR is that if they left India right after they finished their law school without working in India for at least 2 or 3 years, then we don't look at the resume any further. Now, lawyers in India, Indian graduates that have worked in India 2-3 years, and we have hired a few of them, they're just absolutely wonderful. It's just incredible how good they are if they work. So Mona, what's the relationship between the national Saba and the local Saba chapters?
The relationship is one, we are kind of the umbrella organization here at National. We are here to support and promote our chapters. We are, one of the things I'm very proud of at the national level is that we're very connected with our national chapters. We have chapters that are very established, very large, both in the United States and Canada. And we have other ones that are smaller and may need more guidance, that are newer. But we are very connected to our chapters throughout North America.
Okay. And you do an annual conference?
We do. We have our annual conference every summer. This year it is July 14th in San Francisco in Northern California. So we try to have an in-person annual conference for all of our members at least once a year. We haven't the last few years due to COVID, but we're excited to be back in person again. Our local chapters also will host a in-person gala or some kind of a celebration annually as well. We also do virtual programming, either just at nationally, or our chapters will do it, and we will do things in conjunction with our chapters. So we have a number of different programmings that we do throughout the year.
And are people from India allowed to come to your national conference?
They are not only allowed, they are more than welcome to come. We are excited to have people from India come. It is a great place to network, to find mentors, to learn more about the United States legal market. So we encourage everybody to come. And I'm happy to share information about our conference after this program.
Okay, great. India has a new law minister. Maybe we should invite him to come be one of our keynote speakers.
That sounds like a great idea.
We go to Rohit. Thank you, Mona, so much. We'll come back to you. We go to Rohit. Rohit, you are co-president of Saba, Southern California with Maryse. Tell us about your life.
Yeah, first, thank you for having me. It's a privilege to be here. So as you said, I'm currently co-president of Saba, Southern California with Maryse. I was born in Chicago and left there when I was about 8. And since then I've lived in several other states, including Arizona, Oklahoma, North Carolina, Washington, DC. It's a city, but just the District of Columbia, and now finally settled in Los Angeles. I've been here about 6 years. My practice is commercial litigation, primarily on the plaintiff side. So plaintiff side class actions that run the gamut of subject matters. And currently, as Saba co-president, as Maryse mentioned, we're reaching the end of our term. We've got about a month left. And so the big thing that we're planning right now is our annual banquet, which will be on May 5th. I think it's a bit of a hike for many of the folks on this call, but if you happen to be in Los Angeles, you're welcome to come. Tickets are on sale, and we would love to have you.
So Rohit, a lot of, ILA is relatively new in India, 4 years old now. And a lot of presidents, first of all, a lot of people ask us, why should we join ILA? We meet lawyers anyways. Why do we have to have an organization? one obscene comment I heard from one of a very senior lawyers in India, a general counsel actually, was early on. And he said to me, Navneet, so are we gonna allow litigators to join this group also? And I'm like, oh, well, the very reasons that you don't want litigators to join an association is the exact reason why they should be joining. Because, there is this group of, old-fashioned Indian litigators that, let me just say, they don't have an email address kind of litigators. And so I guess he doesn't want to share a platform. I guess we Indians can't do anything unless in a room it's very clear who's scheduled caste and who's Brahmin. But anyway, so then these presidents ask us what should they do. So you've been very involved with Saba for a long time, and you've been president. What's your answer to? We right now have about 75 ILA presidents, and we will send this broadcast to all of them. What's your answer to what should the president of Indian Lawyers Association chapters in India be doing?
I think the purpose of a bar organization is pretty simple, and it's to give people an excuse to get together and meet a lot of like-minded or people who are in their profession who have something in common that they haven't already met before. And with that in mind, I think the best thing that you can do in running a bar organization is just have a lot of events, and regularly have events so that people can get together and give people an opportunity. It was a struggle at the beginning of our term because of COVID, and now that things are opening up, we've sometimes it doesn't even matter what the subject matter of the event or the theme is. It's just give people an excuse to show up in one place and meet each other, and give your community an opportunity to meet each other, exchange ideas, and chat with one another. And that's how relationships are formed, and that's how you end up having a bar organization like Saba. Maurice and I stand on the shoulders of Mona and past presidents before us, and you end up with an organization like Saba Southern California and Saba North America that is a very tight-knit organization and a community where young lawyers can go to meet people who can lift each other up and help advance each other's careers.
So Rohit, have you had an opportunity to work with lawyers in India?
I have not, unfortunately. I would love that opportunity, and I would love I think there are a lot of different avenues for lawyers in the US and lawyers in India to work together, particularly in the alternative dispute resolution context. I myself I'm a litigator, and so that's the area that I think could probably most
So
easily
you work for what you would call like a mid-sized firm?
I think that's right. I think we would characterize ourselves as a boutique, but yeah.
How many lawyers?
150.
Okay, and it's a very good firm with a wonderful reputation that you win your cases and do great work for clients. From what I recall, a lot of your work at your firm is done on a contingency basis, right?
Correct. That's right.
Half of it? Roughly?
That's right. Yeah, it's about half. About half of our work is on a contingency basis. If you do it by dollars of fees, I think it's more than that, but about half is contingency.
So a lot of lawyers don't know what contingency fee lawyering is. Could you tell us?
Sure. Essentially, we, in the simplest form, we just only get paid if we win, and we get paid a portion of the recovery of our client. So if our client has a breach of contract claim and they are successful and they win, X number of dollars or rupees, then we'll get our fee will be a portion of that. And if we're unsuccessful, we take home nothing.
Why would a country like United States allow contingency lawyering? What is the logic behind it?
our view of the logic behind it is as simple as the lawyer and the client's interests are aligned. That our clients, I think our clients have a lot more trust in us when we're doing a contingency fee case, because they know that we're trying to litigate the case efficiently, that we're not going to try and bill up the file, and our incentive is just to win, and so we'll do things efficiently. And so if we're going to rack up expenses, because we also think it's really important to basically get, if it's important for the case, and that's I think the real reason why they're both allowed and why we have a lot of clients who prefer that. The other side of it is contingency cases exist and allow clients who may not have the ability to pay fees up front. They might be cash poor, but have claims and legitimate claims to bring. It gives them an opportunity to access the legal system, and they otherwise people the opportunity to access the legal system and quality representation who otherwise wouldn't.
What percentage of your contingency cases do you think your client would not have been able to bring up the case or fight the case, but for you taking the matter on a contingency basis?
So all of my current contingency cases, all of my cases except for one, it would be a client that would not have the ability to pay. That's because all of those are class action cases where the client has a relatively small dollar claim. To hire us, our fees, of just working a day would exceed the value of their claim significantly. And so the only way that their claim makes economical sense to actually bring as a lawsuit is on behalf of a class of many other people. And so the idea is, if we're successful, we can apply to the court for fees across the recovery for the entire larger group of people. We do have contingency cases for businesses or municipalities where they would have the ability to potentially pay for fees up front, but they prefer to take the case that we take the case on contingency.
So somebody once wrote, Rohit, that but for contingency lawyering, United States wouldn't be United States, because every doctor, every professional, every plumber, every construction, every car, every little thing in United States is done to perfection because of the scare of contingency lawyers forcing a big judgment against them. What do you think?
I mean, I think in a way that is correct. I think there are a lot of people in this country who have been injured and wronged. And the place where you see contingency work more than my area, which is commercial litigation, but you see it a lot more in the personal injury context. And these are people who have suffered, catastrophic accidents or catastrophic injuries, who have suffered a claim obviously worth millions of dollars if you had to put a dollar figure on it, but they don't have millions of dollars or hundreds or tens of thousands of dollars to pay a lawyer. And those people have access to the legal system, and that means that the people, the companies, whoever it is, the defendants that injured those people, if they are hit up with a significant verdict and facing significant risk, they're going to change their practices to avoid injuring people. And I think that does have a significant effect on the behavior of businesses and people and entities across the United States.
So you're sitting down on a chair, right? Because you're going to fall with my next sentence. Did you know that India doesn't allow contingency lawyering?
I did not know that. It's not totally surprising, given that even in the United States, it was very, I think there was a lot of discomfort around it before the 80s is when it really started exploding in the business litigation context. And even in the United States, contingency fees are barred for criminal cases. So you can't do a criminal defense case. You can't, if you're charged with a crime, you can't hire a lawyer and only pay them if you win.
Right. So, you said that there is a lot of people that are harmed. And you're saying that about a country that is very, 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 very rich. in spite of all of the dramas you hear that 50% of Americans don't have $400 in their bank account. That's because they went to Walmart and bought a $4,000 80-inch television, right? So, but anyways, but the point is there's $100 trillion worth of GDP in the world. 4.5% of the world lives in the United States, and US has 20% of the world's GDP. So no matter how you look at it, there's 300 million people in the 15 urban cities of India. 75 million are living in slums on the street without an address. And okay, fine, US with 338 million people, 500,000 people are homeless, but it's a very rich country. And you're saying there's a lot of suffering in the United States. Imagine India. US per capita income 60,000, India is 5,000. And 1.4 billion people in a land that's 1/3 of the size of the United States. And by the way, last week, there's an organization that measures which countries are the happiest countries on the planet, and they do this every year. There's about 200 countries in the planet. This organization only measures 142 countries because the data is not available on the other 58. So last week, their report came out for 2021-22. 142 countries measured on happiness, and India was 136th in terms of happiness. And okay, fine, some country has to be 136. So the problem with India being 136 is that 1/6 of humanity lives there. 1 out of 6 people in the world is an Indian, and you can't apply the 136th number of happiness to 1/6 of humanity. That's a crime. And then when you said there's a lot of people that are harmed in US, I'm wondering what the heck's going on in India. And to me, a country that says no contingency lawyering allowed in this country has a sign outside the country that says there is no justice for the poor in this country. End of story. Where are the poor supposed to get justice? As it is, the rich in India get more than their fair share. They have political connections, family connections, money. They can do pretty much anything they want. If you were wondering why I was chewing your head a little bit more, Rohit, it was because of this, because this thing is really bothersome. And one of the reasons for starting ILA is to have an industry body, because to me, the British left India in 1947 and freed India, but the lawyers in India are still in prison. You cannot advertise, you cannot have a website, you cannot have a booth at a conference, you can't take contingency lawyering, we can't take contingency fee cases, 36 million pending cases, it takes forever, clients don't want to pay because nothing's happening. They're like, why are we paying you? What did you do today in court? Well, I got another continuance is what happens in India. So I'll spare you, Rohit. Thank you for being the platform.
Absolutely.
Send a mail to 100 people in India, some ministers, some lawyers. Some lawyer in India needs to file a lawsuit saying enough already. Why? Section 19G of the Indian Constitution says there shall be no restraint on trade. Lawyers, what are you doing in India? Why are you in prison? There's a restraint of trade everywhere. Okay.
I'd be
Which
happy to
brings-
sign any letter on that front.
Awesome, Rohit. Wonderful. Shaurya, you thought we weren't going to talk to you, but we haven't forgotten you. You practice in New Delhi. Tell us about your life.
So, hi all. My life has been pretty simple and typical for a UP guy. I come from a very small town in UP and did my law and completed my law in 2003 and settled in New Delhi for professional reasons. And since then, reading between the lines, right? And have always been a corporate lawyer advising clients on numerous things. Yes, strategizing on litigation is part of my job as well, but my team takes care of the litigation, be it civil, criminal, or arbitration things. We are doing that that much for our various clients, be it from India, be it from US, China, and Japan. That's the primarily jurisdictions we cater to. And yeah, this is pretty much for from my side. So
So Shaurya, you do a lot of work with Japanese clients, right?
yeah, yeah,
And you get an opportunity to work with Japanese attorneys,
yes,
and you've done a lot of work with US clients, and you've dealt a lot with US attorneys. So
yes.
what's the difference between working with Japanese lawyers and US lawyers? What's good and what's bad? And be brutal.
So, see, I have always been in practice. I have always been with law firms since I passed out my law. And I am a company secretary as well. So that is my profile. So I started my career with Japanese clients only when I was working for a law firm. I was in their Japan team. So all these Japanese companies having subsidiaries or JVs in India back then, and at that time we used to have all such FIPB approvals from FEMA to set up a JV in India. So I have worked extensively with Japanese lawyers, and say, okay, I will come to that point that what's the difference I feel between Japanese lawyers and US attorneys. But straight away, both are the developed countries. I can differentiate between US and Japanese attorneys and pointers which we lawyers from India should learn from the developed country lawyers. That's a different thing. But yes, Japanese lawyers and rather I would say Japanese drafts and the way how they work is they prepare very short drafts. And there is a language barrier as well. So we used to have a Japanese person in our team who would be communicating for us with the Japanese counsels. But yes, good law firms in Japan have people who would be people like Japanese attorneys who would be speaking really good English and writing good English. Yes, but always a language barrier was there with Japanese clients, Japanese attorneys, and yes, it happens with Chinese attorneys as well. But yes, they work on a very short draft, not a bigger draft. And like India, US attorneys also work on shorter drafts. They are more estate than Japanese attorneys. And this is what I feel. But yes, per se, the approach is most of the time similar from Japanese attorneys and US attorneys. And that I feel because of their developed countries a notion, because they are developed in terms of culture. They are not in terms of culture. In terms of culture, India is upright there, I would say. But in terms of the economy and all of the infrastructure and facilities which they have been privileged to. But yes, that's the main difference I feel, sir, between US and Japanese attorneys and Indian attorneys. We work on lengthy drafts. We because we there are so much ifs and buts in Indian document, because we work on so much of contingencies. Rather, we are not getting paid for the contingencies fees, like you said, but we work on a lot of contingencies in our drafts. Whatever it is, be it a transactional documents, a simple agreement between two parties, but we work most of the time ifs and buts. So
But
that's
Shaurya,
the
if we
major
can't
difference.
go to court, if we can't go to court, if there is no justice, if there's never going to be a trial, then why even enter into an agreement in India? What's the point?
Okay, so some of my clients always say that whatever agreements we prepare, the lengthy agreements we prepare, 100 pages or 200 pages, it is just to keep in their safe houses, in their almiras. And because if something goes wrong and that agreement is to be placed before the court, and nothing is going to happen practically, because 200-page agreement, lot of ifs and buts, and then both parties' lawyers would be defining and interpreting in their own ways. So that's why I always feel, and 18, 19 years of my practice, I also started working on smaller drafts and in such a way that the client's requirements are to be fulfilled. And if something goes wrong, it should be proved not much, not much without hassle kind of a thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I get a 60-page draft from a lawyer in India, I look at the number of pages.
Yeah.
And if it's over 25, 30, I don't read, and I send a reply back saying, can you please send me a shorter agreement? My client's not gonna pay me to read a 60-page draft.
Yeah.
And they're like flabbergasted, like, how do I reduce a 60-page document
Yeah,
to 30
that's
pages?
that's the main reason that Indian law firms or Indian lawyers are not able to generate hourly billing. It doesn't happen in that way. Yes, we charge on hourly basis as well for various of our clients, but sometimes it really feels difficult to justify the hours we spend, the efforts we put in, because our drafts are lengthy. When we prepare any draft, you send us a normal agreement and of 3 page or 4 page, and I will simply make it like 12 pages. I'll just double the size of the document, and it's in like in my nature, because I'm doing it for last 20 years. So that's the thing, sir.
So Shaurya, you're a wonderful lawyer. I worked with you. You're just awesome.
Thank
And
you very much.
every time we ask you to do something for Indian Lawyers Association, you always do it. So
Yep.
there's one tiny problem. Our president in Delhi, Gagan, who's done a great job for the last 3 years, he keeps saying that nobody wants to take on the presidency and wants to step down. So in this lifetime, can you become president of ILA Delhi?
I would love to, sir, but the problem is the commitment kind of a thing, because see, I'm the one who is running the show in the Delhi office, and a lot of commitments. So just to take out some time, because it's a noble cause, and what I feel about the ILA, that we are creating a lot of buzz and awareness. That is really important and a required thing in our profession. Because if we are sitting in Delhi, it's a metro capital of India. We know a lot of things, but tier 2 cities and tier 3 cities, there is no awareness. And forget about tier 4 cities having 100,000 population or more. So I don't know how the lawyers in those cities are coping with the pressure and upkeep in the professional scenario.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll make a commitment to you that you don't have to do any work, just take on the title as president. Then would that be okay with you?
So I'm that kind of a guy that if I take something, I'll do wholeheartedly. So if that happens, I will look into it and will
Sure.
do my bit.
Thank you so much. So Tara, we didn't forget you. I'm sure this has happened to you all your life. If some things happen in alphabetical order, then you're at the tail end. Have you hung up on us, or are you still here, Tara?
I'm still here.
All right. Thank you so much. You're a trooper. So tell us about your life, Tara.
So I was born in Chicagoland. I'm still here, Chicago, although I'm currently in South Carolina for vacation. My name is Tara Raghavan. First of all, thank you, Namit, for inviting me to this illustrious gathering. I am the president-elect of Saba North America. I have been a lawyer for 18 years. Before that, I got a degree in chemistry. And so I am actually a pharmaceutical patent litigator and work with a lot of Indian pharmaceutical companies in particular, as well as other pharmaceutical companies around the world on patent litigation in the United States. I've been involved with the South Asian Bar Association for a very long time. And in terms of commitment, I've heard that from a number of the Indian lawyers on this call. I think the commitment that people here in our South Asian Bar Association community put towards our fellow lawyers is significant, and we see a lot of value in it. Admittedly, like many of you, we have other commitments as well. We just put this as a priority. And so, one thing I'll have to say, just kind of off the cuff, is for us, it's really worth the commitment because we get connections, we develop business relationships, we develop personal friendships, we develop so much more in connecting with each other. So I think the same can be done in India. It's just a change in mindset in terms of what is valuable and why it's valuable. So Navneet, I'll let you ask me grilling questions.
Right. So, you know, Tara, everything you said is accurate. And at times I feel for our Indian colleagues because most of them have a 3-hour commute in bad traffic and bad air. And I know several of my friends in India, they wake up and get ready and go to work, take some hour and a half. No matter, across the street is 15 minutes, right? Or 20 across the street. And so then they work like crazy late. Every lawyer in India, for some reason, works till 6, 7. I even had one lawyer say to me, even if they don't have any work, they need to stay at the office till 6, 7, 8. Then they reach home at 9:30, 10, 10:30, have dinner and go to sleep. And then when I show up and say, hey, you want to become president of Indian Lawyers Association, they just want to slap me. And so there's no time, right? And so from that point of view, we have a little bit of luxury here. And even if we have a 1-hour commute in Chicago, you're on the train, you're in a nice car, and you know, you can literally sleep a little while driving because it's a straight lane. And so there's a bit of that. And plus there's a culture, right? Your law firm supports it. Your law firm insists that you join a bar association. They help you, they prod you to become president of the bar association. You could look at partner of any big or medium-sized law firm in the United States, and you look at the profile, and the profile is 100% similar. College, undergrad, law school, internship, judge, and then what kind of work I do and 2-3 jobs, and then a whole long list of social activities, board member of this charity and this bar association. So the culture is there, right? So, and I have had several lawyers agree to become president of an ILA chapter and then say to me a week later saying their partner said, no, you cannot. And these are large law firms in India, top 10 law firms in India. The senior partner is telling a junior lawyer that, no, you cannot become a president of an Indian Lawyers Association, which is kind of sad. So Tara, what do you think about, another thing we need to do, Tara, is that anytime an Indian lawyer from United States goes to India for vacation, family, they need to tell us, send me an email, and they need to speak at an ILA chapter event. We will do an event for them. They'll be treated like God, and we'll pick them up, we'll drop them, we'll feed them a nice dinner. The Indian whiskeys are very good now. Whatever they want, we'll take care of them. Just speak at an ILA event. And at some point, Tara, I know this is a little aggressive, but at some point we should take a delegation of 10, 15 lawyers from US to India to tour around 5-6 cities. And we go meet the senior leadership of every big city in India, lawyers. What do you think?
I think there's actually a plan to do that in 2023, Navneet.
Okay.
We have this, we have a South Asian judge in Chicago who wants to organize a trip for a set of US Indian attorneys to go to India, and they want to hire a tour organization or something like that. So I don't see, it's been done by the ABA in the past. There's been delegations that have gone to India and kind of done that, toured and met with different bar councils throughout India, and particularly the largest cities, which are easy to travel to. I don't see why that couldn't happen here, even in the next couple of years, depending on what happens with COVID.
Wonderful. So what is, you're going to become president of Sabana, the national organization, starting June?
July.
July.
Yeah.
Okay. And the term is 1 year or 2 years?
It's 1 year. I've already put in a full year into this president-elect business. So I feel for attorneys that in India, I completely understand how much commitment it takes to do for these bar associations or lawyers associations or other associations you're involved with. It is a commitment. It's definitely a commitment, and it can't always be done if you don't have the time to do it. And I agree with you, Navneet. You made a comment that in the US, we have this almost bar association culture. Admittedly, I don't actually have a huge amount of support from my law firm, but I just do this kind of my own internal volition. But I do think the culture here is just different, just because people see this as a personal branding opportunity or an opportunity to get business connections. So I think that's just a different cultural change. And I think India is poised to do all of that because things have been changing in India so quickly in so many different ways. It's just a matter of time for this to pick up.
Except for lawyers in India are in a prison of many kinds. The court systems don't work, so they're not able to do good work, and the clients are unhappy, and so then they don't want to pay the fees. So, of the 1.3 million lawyers in India, like 90% of them are not doing well financially. And of the 10%, 9% are doing okay, and 1% have Rolls Royces. So Tara, what do you think are your 2-3 objectives of your 1 year as president?
First objective is financial stability, just to increase the ability for Saba North America to just be able to have a full-time executive director, Mona is part-time, as well as a full-time executive administrator. So that's goal number one. Number two, just to build upon the professional development opportunities that we've had in this past year and improve on, our virtual programming so that the organization goes as it has in the last 2 years, gone from a single event organization into a multi-constant event organizations, and to support our chapters beyond what we have this year. So it's just building upon what's happened in the past, and Saba is at 20 years with my term. I'll be the 20th president. So just taking it to the next level in those ways, I think is critical.
Awesome. You're so good. I'm sure Sabana will do wonderful in your 1 year. Any new chapters?
I think so. I think we'll have Ottawa soon. I think the goal is to get the people in North Carolina to move and get organized to join. Obviously, we have a former president, Vijay Bundata, in Charlotte, so we're hopeful that that's going to happen. It's just a matter of getting a critical mass and getting them organized. So that's currently what we're in doing right now.
Do we have a chapter in Pittsburgh?
We don't. We have very motivated people in Pittsburgh, but there's certain limitations for how many people are required for a bar for Saba's chapter bars. So, the goal isn't just to build chapters, it's making them viable for years to come. What happens with smaller chapters, which is difficult, is it's the same group of people that are running it for, a decade or something like that. Just to get people in large cities, there's a large turnover, people flood to large cities, so there's going to be more people to take on these roles. When you're in a smaller city, it's the same people doing the roles for years and years, and they get tired of the process, and then there's not as many events and there's not as much to do. So that's the technical challenges that smaller chapters have and have had for years.
I have a group of about 7, 8, 9 Pittsburgh lawyers, and 4, 5, 6 years ago, something happened and I got involved. And I said, hey, how come you don't have a Saba chapter? And they said, we don't. I said, we should start one. And I have emails of all these group of people that were interested. I'll forward all of them to you. 2002, when we started, I got a call from a lady in Oklahoma City saying, hey, I heard about Sabana and Sabas, and we want to start a chapter in Oklahoma City. I said, you got to be kidding. I said, there's Indian lawyers in Oklahoma City. This is 2002. She says, yeah, there's 9 of them. I'm like, okay, 9 of them's good enough to start a chapter. And we were hungry back then. And, we had 6, 7, 8, 9 back then by the time she called. So I said, okay, sure, great. Let's get together. And she says, where? I said, she worked in the government, so she didn't have an office she could lend. I said, oh, so why don't you go to, is there an Indian restaurant? She said, yeah, there's Taj Cuisine of India, which every city has a Taj Cuisine of India, right? So she says, there's the Taj. And I said, okay, so why don't you call all 9? And she says, and do what? I said, call all of them, which is what we did with every chapter. Call all of them and talk to them. And she says, who's going to talk? I said, okay, I'll call in. And she says, and who's going to pay for the dinner? I said, okay, I'll pay for dinner. I'll give you my card. I'll call the owner. I'll give him my card in advance. And you guys get together, 9 of you. I'll pay, I'll call in, I'll talk. And she said, okay. So that's what I did. So that's how we had Oklahoma City. I don't know if we still have that or not, but.
We don't, unfortunately. I'm guessing the people moved from Oklahoma City. Maybe we'll find them again. We'll find them
we
again.
gotta
and
find
try
them
to-
again.
Yeah.
Financial, yeah. One thing I've learned, Tara, with organizations like Saba is that they're membership organizations. And as long as the organization is providing good services, people are kind of willing to pay to become a member, to attend an event, and every event is self-sufficient. And as a matter of fact, you don't want to leave an organization with a lot of money, because then they will stop providing the membership services that they need. And it's the hunger for money so that they can stay alive, which means they have to provide good services. So
I don't think I'm not suggesting we have tons of money in the bank. We just want to be able to do the things that we want to do. So to a certain extent, it's just to make Saba North America more accessible to our chapters, and to provide chapters with a basis to be connected with the organization and reasons. So
which is very true.
Yeah. So I don't think the interest is just accumulating money. That's never been the interest of Saba. I don't think from the start of it, when you started the organization many, many moons ago. I think the goal is just taking the organization to the next level so that we can be on the same par. And we're very, obviously in the US, South Asians are a growing population, and Indians have been here for not as long as other places in the world, including Canada. We're a fairly recent population, but the growth of Indians in particular in the US is so fast paced and moving in all kinds of positive directions. So it's just a great thing to see, but in order to meet the demands of those people, we just need to have the financial stability to ensure that we can meet those demands. That's about it.
Let's do Calgary and Edmonton also.
We're already there. We already have
do.
Calgary and Edmonton.
Okay, awesome. Wonderful. Hey, so, one of the beautiful things that happened with Sabana and Saba, absolutely beautiful, and it just happened, is that neither organization, not the 29 chapters, not the parent organization, don't have their hands in each other's piggy bank, right?
Yep.
So a lot of organizations like TIE, for instance, the largest Indian networking organization in the world, is suffering because the chapters pay 6% of their income to the parent. and some chapters pay, some don't. And the parent is unfortunately out with a begging bowl, begging the 60 chapters to pay some money to them. And then the president changes and the chapter is suffering. The new president comes and says, hey, the last president left a mess. I don't have money to pay you. Give me a break. And not only is it hands in each other's kitty, but the parent has become very weak since the kids have all the power. Very sad situation. So having looked at 100 organizations around the world, there is a most beautiful model. And the model, if you want money for Sabana, how much do you want? $250,000 enough?
Yeah, that would be great.
Okay, I can get you $250,000 in 1 minute. And what we do is leave the Saba chapters alone. We don't want to touch them. We don't want to say to them that, hey, it's our name. We gave you a license, give us a license fee, right? We could 4, 5, 6, 7, 10%, right? Like franchise fee of McDonald's 8%. We could have, but we never did. And so Saba Na, and by the way, the best organizations in the world work on this model. Saba Na reaches out to the 15,000 South Asian lawyers in the United States and says, hey, do you want to become a member directly with Saba Na in addition to your local chapter? There's some requirements, which means you have to be in practice for 5, 10 years, some seniority, partner, this, that, whatever you want. And the dues are $2,500. Now, the cream of our community, because it becomes a sort of an exclusive club of sorts, happily pays this $2,500, and all law firms are going to happily pay, and you get your $250,000 in a week. But
it's a creative idea. We've actually thought about how to address this issue. I will say we don't currently have any commingling of funds. So you are right, Navdeep, like that, and Navneet, that's one of the advantages of Saba North America. The chapters are by themselves. And for large chapters that have, the ability to put on a 400-person gala or whatever, that's great because they can make that financial, they have the market to kind of make their event successful, and that's how they fund the next year. What becomes more difficult is for smaller chapters, they don't have the same financial, model. So as the organization goes into its third decade, right now it's in its second still, I think thinking about how to make a financial model in which every year there's not the struggle on either the umbrella organization's part or local chapters' parts to struggle to get whatever funds they need. And COVID was difficult.
right.
It reduced income and the ability to fundraise for all of us. And so to a certain extent, coming out of that, we have to think strategically and creatively on how to move on from that.
So the best organization in the world that does this beautifully is YPO, Young Presidents Organization, 35,000 members. Every one of them has to join YPO Global and pay $2,500 per year as dues. And then there's 400 chapters, and you can join any one of the 400. And each chapter, they don't touch each other's money, and each chapter then charges whatever they want. So I pay $2,500 a month, a year to YPO Global in Dallas, and then my local chapter charges $7,500 a year. And some chapters charge 5,000, some 10, and one of the most expensive chapters in the world is Mumbai, the most expensive YPO chapter in the world. And so I think if there's a lot of senior South Asian lawyers in US that don't belong to Saba because they've outgrown that and they're too senior and too mature or whatever. But if there was a club for them, like call it a charter member, platinum member directly with Saba Na, they'll happily give you $2,500.
Yeah, I agree. I think Mona has that idea as well. The idea is to create some sort of value add. Our foundation did it, a founders circle or whatever it is. And so they collected just cash just easily by, even if you're not able to do $2,500 in one swoop, they did it over 5 years. And so they collected some sort of cash amount from these senior members. It is plausible. I do think we have lots of people that have made lots of money. So they're certainly capable of funding the organization in a large way. Maybe not in the years that Kritika, who's the 7th year, is, but someone like me who's 18 years out could possibly do that for sure. So I think there's room for that. It's just getting that culture in place. That's just a normal thing to do. So we can do a start. We could do, definitely. These are good ideas that we'll definitely consider, at least in the next year.
Okay, send me a Sabana invoice. Call me trustee for $2,500 and I'll send you a check tomorrow.
Mona, you heard it. Send Navneet an invoice for that.
Done. It is done. Thank you, Navneet.
You'll get, in this kind of, when you create this kind of environment, people want to join. And I think all of the partners, every single South Asian partner in US would join an organization, a club that was just the South Asian partners in the United States. It's so good to belong to something like that. And you could charge 10,000 or 12 or 6, they'll pay.
Yeah, it'll be a Saba exclusive club.
And we're not touching our chapter's money. As a matter of fact, the chapters will benefit because a senior member who becomes a charter member or a platinum member of Sabana is not a member of Saba Austin. They'd be more motivated. They'd be recognized as a senior member or whatever. So Mona, we need some entertainment, so I bring this up. So the gossip on the street is that you married another lawyer that you met at Saba. Is that true?
That is true gossip. Yes, I married a former Saba SoCal president. He was president, 2 or 3 years before I was a Saba SoCal president. So we met through Saba, yes, and we just celebrated our 10-year wedding anniversary. And we have 2 children now, so yes, that is true.
So did he do something shady as president of Saba?
I'm going to take the spousal privilege and not answer that question.
All right, good answer. So Adarsh, thank you for your patience. We missed you on round 1. And thank you for hanging in there. You're also president of ILA Gurgaon. And Gurgaon, as everybody knows, is one of the most upcoming cities and maybe the richest city in India. So what kind of work do you do?
Am I audible?
Yes.
Am I audible, Navneet?
Yes.
Thank you so much, Navneet, for inviting me for this session. So basically, I'll introduce slightly about myself here. I'm not a full-fledged lawyer. I'm basically engineer turned lawyer. So I primarily contribute in construction and infrastructure dispute and arbitration as an expert because my past background, I started my career with the Infosys as a software engineer, then worked in the Larsen & Toubro Limited, then worked 5 years in KPMG as a management consultant, where we used to do all kind of forensic claim analysis, forensic delay analysis, and all the claims in construction dispute and arbitration. So slowly, and then I did a master in business law from NLU Bangalore. So slowly I turned towards legal side, but still I do not consider myself as a lawyer. Mostly I consider myself as an engineer and MBA graduates. Apart from that, I'm looking for the Gurgaon chapter, and I have a very good connect in entire legal fraternity, because most of the law firm in India, top tier law firm in India, they do deal with the dispute and arbitration with the infrastructure firm. And I primarily bridge the gap between the law firm and the infrastructure firm. Like we have a client like L&T, Saporji, Palonji, Afcons, Tata Project, BHEL, Reliance, all big EPC company in engineering procurement and construction company in India and outside India also have a dispute construction dispute and arbitration, which are mainly dealt by top tier law firm and tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 law firm who are dealing with the construction dispute and arbitration. So in fact, Madhura was saying to organize a good event related to the construction dispute and arbitration. But last 2.5 months, I was totally caught up in so many earlier hearing where I appear as an expert, delay expert and a quantum expert. So I could not look into that, but now it is pending from my side. We'll organize a big webinar or even physical meeting also. Now there is a no fear of COVID per se. So we can organize physical meeting as well, where we can invite all the legal fraternity as well as industry stalwart also. Because legal people will serving the services to the industry people. I'm talking about the dispute and arbitration, not the litigation side. So at one platform where both peoples are there, then there is a scope of synergy and exchanging their thoughts, knowledge, and good opportunity for business from both sides. It would be a mutual business interest. And last time also we organized with the CII, I'm partner in one of the firm called Pro Ultimus Consulting Private Limited. I'm one of the equity partner. After KPMG, I joined this firm as an equity partner. So we primarily deal with all construction dispute and arbitration. So I would definitely seek guidance from Navneet sir, how we can explore this thing in India also, because I do not have much idea about the litigation side, but I know construction dispute and arbitration has a huge business opportunity. In India, in Indian currency, it almost 1.9 lakhs crores. Money is stuck up in the dispute and arbitration, which is available in some of the public domain research. So 1.9 lakh crores is not a small amount. And almost every infrastructure company out of 99% projects nowadays going into the dispute and arbitration, because projects are not going to complete on time. Be it a roadside, metro, highway, oil and gas, any projects, and then usually they complete delayed, whether it is a cost overrun or a schedule overrun, whatever. And once the project has been delayed, then definitely dispute is arise to happen, because then started who has delayed the projects, and if the project has been delayed, then there is obviously a repercussion on the cost side. And once the repercussion on the cost side, then they starts I delayed, you delayed, and how much money is involved in this dispute and arbitration. So it is a very, very big market, I would say, in India, and not in only India, outside India also, because we have done many matters for Singapore International Arbitration Center, ICC, DIAC, Dubai International Arbitration Center, and India is moving towards the institutional arbitration. So India is also going to be hub for the arbitration. Of course, we cannot compete with the Singapore right now, or even DIAC, anything, but India is having a lot of arbitration opportunity. So being as a president in ILA Gurgaon chapter, I'm sure looking that we can have a synergy where ILA can also get benefit, and new young lawyers also see their career opportunity in the arbitration and infrastructure dispute. Thank you, Navneet. This is from my side. In case if you want to add something and ask something, I can happy to add.
Thank you so much, Adarsh. One of the secrets of running an organization like SABA and ILA is that in reality, the president's not supposed to do anything. We should have a president-elect, and the culture should be such that the president-elect does most of the work, and the president is there to support and overall create and nurture a good system and atmosphere and positivity and growth and hold the organization together. So one of the things you could do, because you're so busy, is find a person and have that person be president-elect, and at least that person would do 50% of your work. The second secret is the board of 16 for membership and finance and young students and legal aid and pro bono and committee chair, and get 15 other board members. And if each board member is tasked to do just one event per year, you'd end up with 16 events. And, research shows that horses run faster when they're running next to another horse. So when you have 16 board members and one of them's doing an event and 2 of them are doing it, then 2 more will do it. And finally, third Thursday of every month or once a month, at least do one event. And the events could be anything, a summer picnic, ask a general counsel to hold a meeting at their office, do a chai, do a dinner at a restaurant where it's Dutch, everybody pays for their dinner, so we don't need to worry about money. Celebrate Holi, Diwali, Independence Day, Republic Day, do a debate, do a meet and greet with a judge, because it's very rare for judges in India to meet with ordinary lawyers. So if you can arrange one of those, and a walkathon to raise money for a charity. There's endless stuff to be done. And amazing, great things happen. People get jobs, people find employees, people find spouses, people get friends, and friendships, and business grows. And together we need to, as I was saying at the beginning of our meeting today, that in 1885, there was a Indian Lawyers Association in India called the Indian National Congress. And those guys, most of them lawyers, helped us get independence. And there's a lot that the Indian lawyers need to hold each other's hand. And there's a lot we need to do. We're literally in prison in India. Everything against the lawyers in India is in violation of the Constitution of India. There's nothing but restraint on trade. And we need to be free. Indian technology companies make the websites for all of the big law firms around the world, except for Indian law firms are not allowed to have a website. We cannot advertise, it's just bad. We can't do contingency lawyering. All of that, who's going to fix? The government's not going to do it. The industry body needs to fight. There is no such thing as a government, right? It's just people. And people is just us lawyers. We're supposed to protect the balance of the 1.4 billion people, make sure that their constitutional rights are not violated. But look at our constitutional rights are being violated. Who's going to fix it? Just us. So thank you so much for becoming president. We'll very happily, Madhura and I, very happy to spend as much time as you want and help you do an event once a month. No problem whatsoever.
Sure. Navneet, I want to understand one quick thing. So you have said that many law firm in India is not having a website. I found that, of course, they put a disclaimer. Once you click on that, then only you are allowed to get into the detail of the website. But almost nowadays, every law firm in India is having a good website, like be it Khaitan, Luthra, Amarchand, anyone. So is there any legal law that law firm cannot put a website like that?
No, the law is that law firms cannot advertise.
Yes.
So slowly Indian law firms, the bigger ones, have started creating websites, testing if the Bar Council of India tolerates it. And then because they figured they're not going to tolerate it, they put a one-page disclaimer that you're supposed to read before you click. Nobody reads it. So why is the Bar Council of India, why is the government of India, why are the leaders of India allowing such irrational things to go on? In this day and age, in 20,000 to 2022, you have to read a one-page disclaimer before you can enter somebody's website. What happened to freedom of speech in India? Right? And so it's just silly. But I have had lawyers tell me in India, sorry, I'm not going to create a website because it's unconstitutional, or it's against Bar Council of, sorry, not unconstitutional, it's against Bar Council rules. So some lawyers want to play the game to black letter law, right? And so thank you so much. I know we've taken up more time than we thought we would. I want to thank you, Adarsh. I want to thank you, Kritika, Maries, Apple, Mona Shah, Executive Director of Sabana, doing a great job. Rohit, President of Sabah, Southern California. Shaurya of ICUL in New Delhi, and Tara Raghavan, the incoming president of Savana. Thank you all so much. Really, really appreciate you giving us Saturday morning and Friday night. God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you, all of you. Thanks. Thanks. Bye-bye.